How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in once again as we continuously get closer to training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. As we know, it begins on July 21st. First practice is the day that follows, the 22nd of July, and training camp runs throughout August. Super exciting stuff. But with that being said, though, training camp is crucial for a handful of guys, if not everybody. While some guys go into this training camp knowing what their role is going to be, or most likely going to be with the Chiefs this season, there are some guys who are in the hopes that they can get a bigger role, or depending on how depth or how big the depth is in their respective position room. That's a competition. For example, the left tackle position is going to be competed over between Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore, or the left guard with Mike Caliendo and Kingsley Suamataia. But for this episode, we're going to be talking about a guy who has a real chance to kind of make some waves for the Kansas City Chiefs this offseason as they get closer to the beginning of the season, and that's their 2025 fourth-round pick out of Utah, wide receiver Jalen Royals. Jalen Royals. He is likely to be seeing a lot on his plate the remainder of this offseason. As we know, if in case you don't, Rashee Rice has pleaded guilty, and he has been given the sentence of 30 days in jail with 5 days of probation for his multi-car accident on the highway in 2024. And as we know that now that there is a verdict, the NFL is likely to hand Rashee Rice a suspension, whether that be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games. It has yet to be disclosed, but with training camp right around the corner, the Kansas City Chiefs have to focus on the players that they know will be playing, or that they have planned playing throughout the entire season. While Rashee Rice, yes, he's a huge asset, it is a hurdle that they have to get through, knowing that they have to try and win some games without him on the offense. Last season, we saw how many one-score games that the Chiefs had, and maybe it would have been different if Rashee Rice was on the field. Who knows? All hypothetical. All of that leads into training camp with Jalen Royals. This is a guy who has a very strong chance of, if he performs well during training camp, meshes well with other wide receivers in the wide receiving room, starts to understand the playbook, has a developmental relationship and continuously progressing relationship with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. If all of this happens and Rashee Rice is sidelined due to suspension for multiple games, Jalen Royals has a very strong chance of becoming that wide receiver that steps into his spot. Now, if that's the case, we already know that Xavier Worthy, he had to step into Rashee Rice's role last season when Rice went down with an LCL injury for the remainder of the season following week 4. And while he had his ups and downs, near the end of the season, he started to get his feet underneath him once again and have more confidence. Now that he's been in the system for a year, it's going to bode well that the Chiefs can pivot. It's like, we've got Xavier Worthy. We're going to be okay. We saw it last season. While it's not ideal, we do have Xavier Worthy to fill that spot. The difference, though, is that Jalen Royals has an opportunity to earn a spot on this roster in a big way before the season even gets underway through training camp. So if that is the case, I think that a good wide receiving core for the season while Rashee Rice is out is Xavier Worthy. You got Hollywood Brown. You got Juju Smith-Schuster for depth and all that. But I think Jalen Royals might be the guy to go to. And here's why. As we know, throughout the entirety of the offseason thus far, Head coach Andy Reid and several others have already talked about how similarly the playing style is between Rashee Rice and Jalen Royals. Similarly, in like the terms of speed, the build, the drive, not the terms of talent level yet, because we've seen what Rashee Rice can do at an NFL level. We have yet to see that out of Jalen Royals. But if the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, there could be a world that we are living in, ladies and gentlemen, where the Kansas City Chiefs have no other option but to push Jalen Royals in hopes that he becomes a Rashee Rice prototype, a guy that has an opportunity in front of him. And while he's got the next 4 years to find a spot and hopefully earn one for the foreseeable future past his rookie contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, in Jalen Royals, he has an opportunity to be a guy that gets sent out there as a starter during the weeks that Rashee Rice is sidelined. Now, certain things would have to happen. One, the Chiefs they can't just hand a position to somebody just because they have similarities in their playing style. Jalen Royals is going to have to prove it. As we've seen throughout his collegiate years, even when he went down to injury and didn't even play the entirety of his senior campaign last season with the Utah State Aggies, he's a guy that has the tools to be successful. And who he has in his back pocket, just the best quarterback in the NFL today, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is going to be able, if this is the case, if this is the route that they're going to go with, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to mold Jalen Royals into the playing style that he likes to go with. Not only just for the time being that he would step into the Rashee Rice position, but throughout the entirety of his career, so long as he's in Kansas City. We know that Patrick Mahomes is signed to a long deal and will probably be a Kansas City Chief for his entire career. Jalen Royals, if he wants to succeed much past when Rashee Rice's suspension is up, this is the kind of moment. All in all, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to see what works in the offseason for the remainder of it and in training camp. Can Jalen Royals be used in this way? Can he be used in this way? We saw an increased role for Xavier Worthy as a rookie, though he was told, and as we've learned this offseason, that he was going to be considered as their kick/punt returner. But then when Rashee Rice went down, he had to slide into that role. He had almost 100 targets as a rookie and a completion rate of just over 60%. And while that's good for a rookie in that kind of position being thrown in there, there are other wide receivers that can be relied on more. Jalen Royals has a chance to know where it's, I can earn my role if the suspension takes place early on in the season. I can earn my role as a guy who's coming fresh out of the NFL draft, who's already turning several heads within the Kansas City Chiefs organization. He's got in the comparisons to the guy that he would be filling in for. I mean, it just makes sense that the Kansas City Chiefs should give Jalen Royals a shot to do this. However, as we know, as I've stated, he can't just be given the opportunity or given the role because they need to fill a placeholder. There could be, if they don't feel like he's ready or confident enough in that area, they've got some veterans on the roster in the wide receiving room that's going to be able to want to grab that opportunity. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up today's podcast. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think Jalen Royals has a chance of becoming a everyday starter at the beginning portion of the season with the Kansas City Chiefs when Rashee Rice is sidelined? Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see, but I think that there's a really strong chance. He's got a lot of talent, and the sky is the limit. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, you can always follow me over on X at Dom Minchella, where I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage as we get into training camp, into the regular season, and throughout the 2025 campaign. You can also follow us and find us at KC Chiefs on SI over on X, where all of our stories get published. You're not going to want to miss any of those news breaking stories anything dropping here soon. With that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.